Welcome to Through the Table Podcast with Brian, JL, Tom, Rick, and Russ.
Guess we might as well. We can just start up. We start talking about Ring of Honor if we want. How?
That works.
Yeah.
Basically, it seems like it's dead. Are there going to be what they want to kind of turn into a PWG coming up next year, where they'll be running like 4 shows and a TV taping, but they released everybody out of contract.
Yeah. How do you run a show without any people on there? So
I mean, like Brian just said, it's if they're looking to do the PWG. PWG. I don't know if because they really don't have storylines per se.
Not really, right?
But like at the same time, it seems like maybe just because it's PWG, they get a pass.
Right.
So it's like I can't see why. You know what I mean? If they're looking to be PWG, why wouldn't we just watch PWG?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I get it because ROH. I mean, when I watched it, pretty much from I'd say 2004 to about 2010 or 11 ish.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like 2010, 2011, that was just kind of like the HD net kind of stuff. Like whenever I would catch it.
Right.
But for like the bulk of my Ring of Honor fandom, I guess, from what I understand, that was all just, everybody was on kind of like handshake deals, like they just booked out these shows.
Yep. They were still like an indie back then. You agreed to come in for a show or 2 or 3 or whatever. Right. That was it. It wasn't like a 1-year contract or anything at all like that.
Right.
Where when Sinclair bought him over, they put everyone under contract basically.
Yeah, they locked. Then look what happened. Eventually, they said it was because, Bully Ray said it was when they wouldn't sign Cody and the Bucks, and I think that's kind of true. It's got to be kind of true. I mean,
that hurt him a lot.
That hurt him a lot. Because,
it definitely did. Mm-hmm. But the thing about that too is when Cody won the belt.
Yeah,
it wasn't that big of a, not so much it wasn't a big of like a deal, but it was it almost felt like they were doing it just because like Cody was the hot,
right?
You know what I mean? Like he was like the it guy at the time.
Yeah, right. He was indie darling, as they say.
Right.
And they didn't like, because he won the belt, they didn't just like take off or anything, Right. It just kind of was ho hum. It's still Ring of Honor, the same old deal. It didn't matter who had the title, really.
Right. But honestly, I think a lot of it too with Ring of Honor was, the last couple. I mean, then again, I guess you could also make the case that it was once the Elite, though, the Bullet Club or whatever you want to call them, like left ROH. For a minute, it turned into like chaotic wrestling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was just, it was like, why am I going to go watch Ring of Honor when I can go to Lowell on a Friday night and pay $20 instead of $65 for a ticket and see the same exact wrestlers?
Sure, right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like nothing against Brian Malonis and Vinny Marseglia and stuff, but it was just like I said, it's I'm not gonna pay whatever it was to go to Lowell Auditorium when I could save myself $40 and go watch chaotic wrestling for 3 hours.
Oh, exactly. When they left, they just brought in. Basically, it almost seemed like New England guys.
It was. Well, I mean, I guess it was also the Bob Evans kind of.
Yeah, it was their crew.
You know what I mean? It was, and that's what it was. It was literally just whoever we have in New England, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett.
Yep, Taven and Bennett just kept giving out names to, these guys are really good.
And actually, they actually had Bob do it a little bit too. Before he was terminated, but there was, or he stepped down, or however it would happen.
Well, right. They just let his contract go because he'd only sign like a handshake deal for like, say, a certain amount of shows. He was never under like a contract, but
it's not like he was lighting the TV on fire with his cheeseburger or anything. You know what I mean? So it's just.
Or the toupee he did on the outside where he smashed his head wide open and was bleeding all over the place because he can't jump. He shouldn't have tried.
No, he was what? He went from like being Mike Bennett's corner man or whatever, and then out of nowhere he just started feuding with Cheeseburger or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess Cheeseburger against the manager is kind of a feud for him. That's kind of how they had it.
But yeah, and then that's probably what it was. He started bringing like. Because that's what it was. Yeah, I just remember thinking like Malonis and like all these chaotic guys.
Oh yeah,
Can we contribute Evans killing ROH now?
Oh, I think so. And then it was the Midwest guys they also brought in, like LSG and a lot of those Midwest guys that were with Silas Young, Beer City Bruiser, and people they trained. They brought in a bunch of their trainee guys, like Josh Woods, who actually turned into a decent guy, but a lot of Midwest guys and a lot of New England guys. That's basically all it was.
Right.
Who do you know? Who do you got? All right, bring them in. They're cheap. We can keep going. That's what it is Sinclair's losing money left and right because they made a bunch of deals to buy all the Fox Sports channels because Fox couldn't keep them anymore with whatever deal they had. So they're selling all their like local ones. Right. And Sinclair bought them all, and they're losing. They probably spent 5 times what they should have for it. So they're just losing money left and right. I'm not shocked that they did this.
Well, did we mention that they're swapping it out with Women of Wrestling? Wow.
No, we haven't said that.
Oh, that's right. So that's what is it? Access TV? No, not Access TV.
Yeah, Access TV.
Access TV.
Yep.
That's crazy that they're just. It's going to be.
Women of Wrestling is going to be on Access TV, and then it's also going to be on Viacom, like syndicated. So it'll be the same show.
I think there might be a secret reason. I'm just assuming that they took WoW now because Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, is involved in WoW, and
really?
Yeah, and. I don't like it, but in LA, Lakers are king.
Right. Exactly.
So on these FS1 channels and all these channels, I'm sure they want to make nice with Jeannie Buss to possibly get some sort of Lakers thing in the future.
I could see that. That's a good point.
Whatever happened to Dave McLean running this? Is he still in it?
He's still doing it. Yeah,
he's the owner and matchmaker, right?
Oh, okay.
But Buss is probably helped funding it, so
right. They got the money.
You got to kind of cater to those people, So
I'm surprised they're hitching that wagon to Tessa. I don't, you know what I mean? Just
very strange, right?
She has nuclear heat.
Oh. Yeah. Well, they tried to bring in the girl she supposedly had the racist run-in with, and she's like, hell no. They
she just worked, what is she? I could have sworn I just saw her name.
Darker Elevation, one of those. I think it was the dark taping they just did in Orlando.
Yep.
But they reached out to her to see if she'd come in, and she's like, I don't want anything to do with it if Tessa's involved. I'm like, why would you even bother? Like, seriously. I know why they did, because they want to probably have them feud and then the whole history and blah, 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 but
then you could spit on her back. It
just doesn't make any sense.
You can call her the N-word instead.
Right. It's like, God.
Stupid.
But yeah, I saw she showed up in on the dark tapings a few days later. I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting.
It's kind of weird because, I mean, I other than the thing from last year or whatever with Tessa, I've never really even heard that girl's name anywhere.
Nope, she does a lot in Mexico. That's about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she doesn't really come to the U.S. a ton. But she does a lot of Mexico.
it's La Rosa Negra, I believe, is her.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yep.
The Black Rose, I guess.
Yeah.
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 But I haven't seen anything like.
I think
Like,
she's doing some indie stuff with Thunder Rosa now. And
Oh, okay.
if she works with Thunder Rosa, she probably put a word in her. Hey, she could take a couple bookings and make a few bucks. And Tony Khan's
Right.
like, sure, I'll give her $100 to come do a show. Why not? You know, it's better than having to fly guys all around from other areas. Might as well, if
Right.
they're in the area. But they also needed the talent because a bunch of the people were still on the Jericho cruise when they taped that dark. So they needed extra bodies probably.
Yeah.
Just remember, Fear was on the Jericho cruise. He could have covered everybody.
Yeah, well,
Good point.
I guess he was a good boy. We haven't heard anything come out of it, so
No international incidents
he
happened.
must have behaved.
He didn't jump the railing or anything.
Only thing I saw is his luggage did not return home with him to LA, and he was very upset by that.
What?
Nothing.
So,
Oh, intern.
he's on the air. So with Ring of Honor basically getting rid of everyone's contracts, what do you guys think about who's going to go where possibly?
They're all going straight to the top.
So I know there was like a list that I don't know if it was true or not, but I saw something come up that like Gresham, Brody King,
Yep.
Jay
Yep.
Lethal, and like a handful of others already have some kind of a agreement, possibly with AEW.
That's what the rumor is.
I almost feel like it's like, I get it, Tony Khan's supposedly a nice guy, but it's like, I feel like you don't need to sign all those people.
I don't think they're all going to come in. I think that was just the only way they do is if he buys Ring of Honor outright.
Which he might. I mean, just for the footage of all
He's
in.
talking to him.
Someone should buy it. Someone should buy it.
Oh, it's
But
going to
the cra-
happen. It's going
But
to
the
happen.
crazy, so from what I've heard too, is a lot of that footage is like, it's all owned by certain eras are owned by different
Right.
companies. So to if you're buying the library, you're not buying, you like, I believe it's the HD net era. That's all owned by Cuban or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's like the stuff before that, the 04 or whatever, 02 to 04 is RF video, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken.
Yes, correct.
And then you have 04 to like 09 is I guess ROH's stuff, and then it's just then you have the Sinclair stuff. So
It's kind of like since we're still relatively close to Halloween or Halloween adjacent, Day of the Dead. It's kind of like what they're doing with the Jason Voorhees franchise, Friday the 13th. There's only a certain amount of like, if people still get DVDs,
Right.
I do, but there's just collections of not all the movies because some of the movies are owned by others. So it's definitely a similar situation like that. But I would love to see someone buy something from it.
Well, there's a ton of stuff from the Sinclair years that's all the more current stuff that they probably want anyway.
I mean, they definitely need to try to, I think, at least buy the rights to All In.
They have, at worst.
Right. And I guess it would be nice to have the footage of the Bucks and Cody and Kenny in ROH, stuff like that. And I mean, but it's it would be nice to have everything.
Yeah.
But I guess at the same time, do they need everything? Do you need 2002 Christopher Daniels versus Paul London versus Brian Kendrick? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
The only thing they would want would be when Danielson was there, which he was there from the beginning. So they probably wouldn't mind having that stuff just for like video packages and things like that. But there's ways you can work around that. I'm sure RF might let you use the rights to some of that stuff if you give them a few bucks. They don't.
Right.
They'll take the money. Trust me.
I'm just thinking if they do sell off any of their parts, like the videos and stuff, it's definitely a dead company. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I know everyone's still declaring it dead. I'm one of them, but like, if you sell off your parts, there's nothing to come back to. There's no company.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is, which they should do, is trying to figure out how to reconfigure. And if it works, amazing. But if it doesn't, in April or March or whenever they said, then, you know, like JL said, it's over.
Right. Whenever Mania is, that's supposed to be when they're doing their next pay-per-view after the December one that they have. It's going to be WrestleMania weekend.
See, I can't believe that they're still gonna go with the format of trying to do TV.
They're taping it this week. This whole week they're taping it.
I feel like if that's the case, just go back to the old format. You know what I mean? Just put all your shows on DVD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If
just run a show a month at that point.
Right. And that's what they used to do like I said, 2004 to 2009, they would do maybe 4 shows a month.
Right. You could do that. Do say 1 or 2 shows a month. You have, if it's a 4 or 5 hour show, or say 3 hour show, you break that up. You got 3 hours of TV right there on one show.
You know what they should do too is, like, they obviously have all their names for their shows that have had history to it.
Yep.
And now they also have, you know, they let go of everybody, but they'll be able to pull some people in, and maybe this is the time that they get involved with, like, say they have 4 pay-per-views. One pay-per-view could be Ring of Honor, because it has the name, versus PWG, Ring of Honor versus AEW, Ring of Honor versus GCW, like these independent promotions that have some cachet to them.
Yeah.
But add the Ring of Honor name to it to kind of help build back the Ring of Honor. I think that would be cool. That's more, you know.
Well, if they're definitely going indie wise, that would make sense.
But who knows who they screwed over? Who knows who they...
Supposedly, if you're signed through the end of the year, you're getting paid your normal salary through the end of the year. But if you're signed to 2, 3, 4 year deals, they're only paying you through March of 2022.
Right.
So
and then, on that,
they're giving you some money, but you know, if you signed a 2-year deal, you're not getting it all. So those guys could be a little bit pissed about it.
Well, and on that note, I think the start of this conversation was, what was the thoughts of everybody being removed from their contract? I have a close source to Brody King that he's looking to possibly or hopefully get into AEW. So I'm sure a lot of people are obviously looking the NXT, WWE route, but AEW seems to be the sexy pick right now.
Well, Brody King makes sense for that because he's really good friends with Malachi, and they do a bunch of
they're
tag
PWG
matches
tag champs right now, right?
And other promotions, they did Defy together as well in Seattle. So I mean, that's almost like a no-brainer just to bring him in with Malachi.
I wouldn't mind seeing him with Malachi. I read an interview a while back with people like he thought might be good with him.
Yeah,
and I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but like my first thought was Brody King, and then I think he said Abaddon, which would be kind of a
he wanted a woman in it because most groups don't have a woman like that. That would he said Abaddon was one he was looking at. Yep.
Well, AEW, I mean AEW gives you the forbidden door.
Yeah.
Brody also works in the film business. He has a band. He has a child. So he doesn't necessarily want the 300 days a year WWE too. So
but that's perfect for him too. AEW, it's Tuesday, Wednesday.
And I know he has a contract with New Japan because he works every Strong show that in the last 2 years, and I'm sure when the doors are open, he's going to go over and work a regular New Japan as well. So I mean, he's got that in the bag already.
Is he like I'm not so much I'm not familiar with him. I've seen him a couple times, but for some reason I can't Is he big or is he just big on
No.
the indies because he's?
No, he's like what, like 6'6", 6'7"?
Is he 6'6"? Okay,
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Because it was always like, is he big or is he like Luchasaurus big? Where Luchasaurus is like 6'2", you know what I mean? He's 6'2".
Right.
You know, like he's not really big, but he's big because everybody he's around is 5'9".
6'5",
Right.
275 is what they
6'5",
listed.
okay.
as.
He is a big bastard.
Yeah.
Like 11 or 12 years ago out in Los Angeles, there was, and I still think they have it, there was a society of dodgeballers where like you would go and form a dodgeball team and go on Wednesdays and go to the bar afterwards. I was on a dodgeball team called the WrestleManiacs. We all dressed up.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Different wrestlers and such.
You got to insert that, Brian.
Oh, definitely. I will.
And there was a person on my team who dressed up as IRS, who I was friendly with. And he would always mention how he wanted to be a wrestler. He was a big guy, really nice guy, short hair, looked like the big boss man in an IRS outfit. So he was a big guy.
Yeah.
But then he started getting tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Then he started growing out his hair. Then he got into wrestling and got good at wrestling.
Yep.
And now he's a monster. So like he's like 6'12", you know, like he's 8'8", you know.
He works real big, yeah.
He's 6'5", but
he's
works
big, but he
works.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you know, just thinking of the visual of like, say, you know, I mean, you know, they've kind of pushed Malachi in AEW as like he's kind of unstoppable. You know what I mean? I mean, then again, he did lose to Cody, but I mean that right there, that could be your way to bring him in. You know what I mean? But it's just I think that's the visual of Malachi, and then you have Brody just right behind him, just all tatted up. That just
with the big beard and everything.
They would just run. I think they should just run through everyone.
Unless, of course, Brody is in a cult of Wyndham.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Through the Table podcast. Look for more in the next few days.